China. Inside the box,
Made in Japan. Wow. Don't see those anymore.
Japanese, the others in English. It looks like this comes from 2017. And very honest on here. It says the record runner can cause scratches a record. So be careful while in use. Please refrain from using invaluable records. They can't get much more upfront than that. At least they're telling you. They've set out this stall there to say, look, this is a novelty. It's something that you shouldn't be taking too seriously. Looking at the bottom of it, we've got a key control there, we've got volume, we've got a pitch speed, and
that's very neat.
Switch which varies between high and low. Apparently, the record runner may change speeds on environmental conditions such as temperature, humidity, or the record surface quality. In order to accommodate these conditions, there's a high-low speed switch. And there's also a reminder in there not to try and play warped records and the fact that this only works on 33 1/3.
Hi guys. So this is the Q&A, guys. Q&A part 2. I was gonna do it again at 5, but someone came at the last second, so I couldn't do it at 5. So I thought, you know what? I'll just start. I'll start a little before 5. I'll start at 5:30, which will be 5:30 in 2 minutes of this. Right now it's 5:28 Eastern time, or 15. I'm not really sure. Right now, it's 5:29. Right now, as it's recording, I know it's live right now, but later when you guys watch this after this, you know. So it's a Q&A, guys, another Q&A, and I thought, you know what? Just actually have a proper Q&A. This will be until Windows maybe until 10 o'clock tonight, because I have nothing happening to my knowledge until 10. 10 until 10, 10:30 maybe. 10:30 to watch Music Man. So yeah, I'll be on until maybe 10, maybe, guys. So.
We'll switch it on, but I'm not going to turn on the record just yet. I really want to measure the downward tracking force. Now, these scales I've got here only got to 5.1 grams, and they've maxed out, but I have got the thing at a bit of an angle there. I really want to get the
today was kind of wacky. I went to the store to get some stuff.
Whilst also getting the outer ones not touching.
My phone, I mean, not my phone, the mirror of the car came off, which is not fun. I fix it.
It's maxing it out again. If I then put a 5 gram weight on here and tally it up, it means we're going to start at a point of minus 5 grams. So everything above 0 will be above 5 grams. So let's just try that once more, carefully placing it down on here. And it's maxed out again. I don't think I've got it quite right there, though. So let me just try that again. I really want to get it just carefully balanced. So it's just the stylus on there, the 3 wheels on the surface. It looks like I've got it now. So I know this isn't entirely scientific, but that to me looks like 9.5 grams of downward tracking.
Wow.
It's important to mention, of course, those are the rubber wheels underneath that are touching it, not these outer ones. Those ride just above the surface by a millimetre or so.
Okay.
So yeah, that's about as good as I'm going to get it. 9.5 grams of downward tracking force. That's quite considerable, which is why I'm using an old record here that I don't care about to test it out. So let's put it on here and have a listen.
That's pretty neat though, but maybe kind of Disney-y looking.
Now I can see how much you were enjoying that, so I'll turn the volume up to the maximum.
It's a little loud. My hands right here, guys. So there's the controller for me.
Okay, now I know this thing isn't doing this record any favours, and it doesn't sound particularly good either. However, it really is hard to hate on this because it is just a silly novelty.
And it's dizzy
It's
looking.
a bit of fun. And when you take it like that, it does put a smile on your face, as long as it's not your most treasured record that it's playing.
You can play no my records because I think you can play no my records because all my records are blanks. You can play no my records because all my records are someone else. Okay, I'm not watching him. I don't watch him. This guys is Q&A.
Now, one of those features that was mentioned on the back of the box is the fact that this will stop automatically when it reaches the center of a record. So let's see if that's working as advertised.
Nope.
Well, that was a bit touch and go, but it got there in the end. Now, what
Wow.
I want to show you is underneath the vehicle here. If you look at the stylus, you might have noticed in that last shot, the vehicle seems to be almost driving sideways, and that's what's happening. You see the stylus is perhaps 70 degrees or so off being straight. The vehicle's following turning that round, effectively pivoting on its rear axle. So this is the angle that the stylus ends up at when it's reached the centre of the record. But if we have a look at one just playing the outside, it's approximately straight or just a little bit off. And this pivoting mechanism is how the device regulates its speed as it moves across the record. You see, to play a 33 1/3 RPM record, it has to do a full revolution every 1.8 seconds. On the outer edge, it has to travel faster because it's going further in those 1.8 seconds than it is towards the centre of the disc. So the speed of
kind of like the planets, kinda,
as the device moves towards the centre. To show you exactly how that works, I'm going to have to take it apart. Now, as I get inside this, you might recognise some of the internals. They do look very familiar. They're similar, but not always the same, to a device that I viewed a few months ago, although that has Bluetooth capabilities as well and a rechargeable battery. But other than those two things, they do look very similar to one another. I suspect they share the same factory or were developed together because they both came out last year. But the bit I need to show you goes underneath this circuit board. It's the same speed regulator system as used in that other device. People are wondering how it regulated the speed. Well, I'm going to show you that now. So you see these two sections rest on top of each other. Put it down here. So you've got a transmitter and receiver pointing at each other. Now, when it's assembled, those two things rest inside this plastic trough that you see here that's going diagonally across the base, one at either end. And the way that this works is that the light gets restricted between those two things by the tone arm moving across.
So like I said, guys, I do some weird stuff on my channel, I know.
Position, which will be the outer edge of the record, the light gets completely through. There's nothing blocking the way. So that will be maximum speed. It's regulating the speed based on how much light comes through. But as it moves across, this shutter closes the aperture there and restricts the amount of light getting through from one end to the other. And that's a gradual adjustment. So as the arm moves in towards the center of the record,
saw one of those other day at Pawn Stars, one of those devices, except it was blue or black. I forget. It was a couple of years ago. But help me. Oh.
This is a 1990 Toyota Century. It's essentially
I'm gonna have sex. So, guys, we're doing Q&A again. So,
if you live outside of Jersey, and you may not know the Century, but if you live in Jersey, for transporting me, they used to offer it with a V28. That's right, a V28 luxury sedan. I must make do with this one. Now, this 1990 Toyota Century uses a V, but get this, the V is a 4-liter Heringer that makes only a 90 horsepower. That's a ridiculously small power output, but the engine was designed to be stressed with excessive power to provide the most luxurious driving experience humanly possible. penalties against companies who hire illegal immigrants, especially.
You're illegal immigrants. Who gives a care?
Oh, shit! I like your ass.
Johnny, what's going on?
Not much, Bill.
Let me rephrase the question. What the fuck is going on?
Not much, Bill.
Are you fucking deaf? Where's my bike?
Drop your ass.
And why the fuck haven't you got it down for me? Get my bike!
What am I, your fucking fuckboy?
Yes, Daddy.
Nope.
Johnny!
Fuck. Yeah?
Wait, come here. Listen, man.
Faggot?
Johnny boy, we gotta go steal some bikes from the Angels of Death.
Jason. Oh, shit.
Be cool, man. Hey, Carl. Keep it busy, I hope.
Our boy's done good.
You know me. Shut your dumb ass up.
Well, we're watching you, Carl.
This DJ fool.
The San Andreas.
Tyler, this is Dave. Dave Grossman. A knight of Southern corporate cock. Say, Dave, are you a faggot?
Oh, hell yes. I don't choke on the bone fragments. What's next, man? Documentary team in here?
The following program is classified E.
You fucking kidding me? Where? Where?
There's some bad people in here, sir. Please stand back.
Fuck.
See, I like how you did that. Almost like a joke, you know, only it wasn't funny.
Yay!
Mom said it's my turn on the X-Files.
Nope.
Brothers, come on in. Gather around. Shut the fuck up. I don't really give a shish. I just got word that Jason's been killed up in Brooklyn. Let's take a moment to remember Jason.
What can you say about
Jason. He was Jason. Lost. Forgotten.
Jason?
Do you have an appointment?
No. I thought I'd inquire about a membership.
I think you should leave, sir, before I finger names off your ass.
Trust me, man, nothing would please me more.
Oh, okay, you don't have to say so, sir.
Mr. Stubbs.
Thank you, Levis. What is it that you want?
Rain?
Sorry, I need
Oh, shit.
Fat Mobile. Fat Mobile.
Make yourself at home. What's mine is mine.
What is mine is yours.
Suck. Keep sucking.
I'm so gassy.
Watch where you walking, nigga.
Where's luxury card? Where's sports card? Where's Barbara with big cards instead of little socks cards?
Hey, what you say, nigga?
In your letters to my mom and stuff, in your letters to my dog, all I hear about is Mr. B card. Living the American dream with sports cards, luxury cards, the cards. I come here, and the only thing big about your life is the cards. You idiot.
GTA 4 YouTube. Now, a long time ago, before I had YouTube, I played GTA 4. Did reports on the cars, audio records, and they didn't really do good. Micronations on YouTube. Micronations on YouTube.
Bobapedic means comfort. Ah, that's comfier. Hit it, guys.
Hey, they changed Bob's look. They changed Bob.
Bob's Bobapedic.
I didn't like that. Original Bob was better. Number 10. Wow, that's pretty funny. There's just one country that owns property on Mars and Pluto. It's kind of neat. $350. The Conquered Republic. 25,000 people, 1982. Wallachia. Population 27. Wait. Moldova. Mervin. Mm.
10 countries you didn't know existed. Number 10, the Republic of Lakota. Most people wouldn't believe it if you said there is a country the size of Syria in the middle of the United States of America. But the inhabitants of the Republic of Lakota would argue that there is. Stretching over 1,600 kilometers, Lakota is the home
Oh, there are 4 states.
Sioux, an ancient tribe who lived there long before the European colonial settlers. In 1868, the American government signed the Treaty of Laramie, giving the Lakota Sioux the rights to the land. However, in the 1870s, the government apparently forgot this promise when they allowed thousands of miners to swarm to the land with the promise of gold. Today, the Lakota still consider themselves an independent state. They are fighting for international recognition. Number 9, Transnistria. Transnistria has its own president, parliament,
For the Soviet Union.
and army. It even won a war of independence in 1992. Yet some people still argue that it's part of Moldova. In 1990, Moldova broke away from the USSR. This was a decision that Transnistria, a thin strip of land on the border of Moldova and Ukraine, didn't agree with. Transnistria, with its population of more than 500,000, still felt a strong allegiance to Russia. They wished to declare themselves a socialist republic and remain part of the USSR, and so they fought a war to achieve this. But by the time a ceasefire was reached and Transnistria was able to make steps towards its goal, the Soviet Union had crumbled. This threw Transnistria into disarray, and their official status as a country remained unresolved. Number 8, Barotseland. Located between Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Angola, Barotseland is home to a unified group of diverse tribes. Historically, the region used to be an independent nation, but it was incorporated into Zambia in 1964. Its current claim for independence comes from the idea that it was incorporated into Zambia under false pretenses, as the 1964 treaty between the two peoples had promised autonomy to Barotseland that it did not receive. Instead, Barotseland was just treated like any other province. After years of rising tensions, the Barotseland National Council retaliated by declaring its independence from Zambia in March 2012. If it were to become internationally recognized, this would make Barotseland the world's youngest nation state. Number 7, Chinland. Chinland, whose territories originally included parts of Myanmar, Bangladesh, and India, is home to around
Burma?
5 million people. They consist of 6 major unique ethnic groups who speak a total of 20 languages.
Wow.
When the British Empire began to decline during the 1940s, Chinland was unofficially swallowed up into what was then called Burma. In March 1988, the Chin National Front was established. This was in reaction to the fact that, in its current state, the Chin people didn't have any exclusive rights, despite having their own leaders and national day. Chin nationalists believe that, thanks to their rich history, distinct culture, and independent political system, they are a country in their own right. But the UN continues to consider them as part of former donor Myanmar.
It's Burma, not Myanmar. The proper term is Burma still.
Number 6. Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. Located in Western Sahara in Africa, the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, also known as the Saharan Arab Democratic Republic, declared independence in 1976. Almost a third of the countries in the UN recognize the state, but the rest still consider it part of Morocco. For almost a century, the region had been a Spanish colony. Spain withdrew in 1976, and things just got a little complicated. Morocco, Mauritania, and the indigenous inhabitants of West
This little company seems small, but it comes from a small business.
I'll go have fun tomorrow. I'm gonna buy a game tomorrow.
10 most likely future wars.
Oh no,
10.
no Korean War.
US versus Iran. When Obama signed the Iran nuclear deal in 2016, his hope was that it would delay the country's development of nuclear weapons and reduce the friction between the US and Iran.
Back in a minute. I have to do a thing. Sex, honey. First is slushy. Gator slushy. Make you comfortable. Okay, should tell me. Should you tell me? Yeah, should tell me. Okay, guys. Like I said, still doing a Q&A, guys, until as long as I feel like doing one. Play.
Ten lies North Koreans are told about the world. Number 10, the Korean War. If you were educated in the West, there's a good chance that you're not all that familiar with the Korean War, even though the US was a major force in it. The conflict then saw the recently divided Korean peninsula fighting for supremacy over one another, with the US backing the capitalist South and the USSR and China backing the communist North. But to the communist North, this serves as the ultimate example of the oppressive, interventionist America.
We call it North Korea.
Western accounts and post-collapse Soviet documents describe.
Okay, we call it North, but North Korea calls itself we call it North Korea, but everyone else calls it the Republic. North Korea calls itself the Republic of Korea. It's not true.
Of North Korean aggression, the DPRK teaches that the Americans were not only merely aiding the quickly overrun South, but actually instigating the conflict itself. As such, the idea has permeated the North Korean psyche that the US is now even responsible for dismantling the reunification of the peninsula, hence why most North Koreans harbor resentment for the West. Number 9, South Korea. To the West, it's fairly obvious that with its $1.4 trillion GDP and advanced economy, South Korea is far more advanced than its northern neighbor, which is 113 times poorer and largely served by decades-old infrastructure. But the North Korean government insists to its people that the South is in fact the poorer of the two nations, not only in terms of wealth, but morals too. In the most brutal attempts to support its propaganda, the DPRK government is suspected to have kidnapped the factors over the border and coerced them into denouncing the South's practices. In 2017, Lim...
Kidding me? You want a little secret about North Korea? You want a little secret about North Korea? They're poorer than Cuba. According to what I heard from a colleague of mine who went to Cuba, Cuba is actually modernizing like we are right now. Cuba is actually richer than North Korea. So is that good enough for you? In Cuba you get paid a little bit of money. North Korea don't get paid at all, period. Cuba is richer than North Korea. I'm not kidding, that is true. That is a real fact. And Cuba's always. Cuba has said that if you say that someone tried bombing like Key West or something, our friends, you say that someone tried bombing Key West, right? Our friends in Cuba classify it as war. And that did help us out.
Ji Hyun was thought to have suffered this fate after becoming a reality TV star as a result of her defection. She then appeared on North Korean state TV, denouncing the capitalist state hellhole that was South Korea and its fantasy of food and wealth. South Korean police are investigating if Lim was taken against her will. Number 8, the Internet. According to the United Nations, Internet access is considered a fundamental human right. But it shouldn't be a surprise that North Korea doesn't exactly uphold this resolution. In fact, the World Wide Web is virtually non-existent as far as the public is concerned. Most citizens don't even know it exists. In place of the Internet, North Korea has its own national intranet, the only country to do so. This outdated, simplistic system holds just 26 websites, comprised mainly of state-controlled news, domestic propaganda movies, and the occasional food recipe. It's not to say that the DPRK completely conceals the Internet from its population. It does allow somewhat unfiltered access to elite classes and educational institutions. The only catch is the personal oversight from government guards, just in case you feel like Googling any Western imperialist propaganda. But thanks to word of mouth and memory sticks, the public has at least devised its own clandestine peer-to-peer media sharing networks. Number 7, world leaders. In the West, we have pretty clear ideas of who we revere and revile in history textbooks, and mass-murdering dictators tend to show up more in the latter column. But in North Korea, they teach wildly different lessons about days gone by. According to the BBC, children in North Korean schools are taught to wholeheartedly admire the likes of Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong as historical greats and luminaries. And people considered pioneers of civil rights in the West, for example Nelson Mandela, are largely omitted from history textbooks. That framing of history likely reflects the North Korean dynasty's emulation of, and support from, fellow dictatorships over the decades. For example, Stalin and Mao, who both aided Kim Il-sung during the Korean War. Number 6. Kim Jong-il was an international fashion icon. Everyone has heard some of the more absurd rumors about North Korea's cult of personality over the years, like how Kim Jong-un cured AIDS and he could drive from the age of 3, or how previous leaders didn't defecate. But while most of these absurd tales about the supreme leaders have been pretty inward-looking, there have been a couple of bizarre worldwide lies pushed on North Korean public, like how Kim Jong-il was an international fashion icon. Yes, according to the Secretary of State's leadership, the middle Kim's famous jumpsuit was spotted by a suspiciously unnamed French fashion designer, and soon became a global style sensation, entertainingly dubbed Kim Jong-il-mo. Not only that, but the Secretary of Country claims to the world as Kim Jong-il to thank for inventing the hamburger.
Oh, the hamburger was invented by Germany, I think.
International news.
I'm not sure.
Fake news has become one of the biggest buzzwords in recent years,
Yeah,
often
fair.
being used to denounce critical and allegedly inaccurate reporting. But contrast that with North Korea, where fake news is king and dissenting views face brutal punishment. A According to Reporters Without Borders, North Korea ranked dead last in its press freedom rate. But
Bitch, work! Come to me. Okay.
Give me your lunch money, turd.
In this humiliation, anyone. Leave Timmy Turner, I want to live alone. Big great bully.
Timmy's school. There's nothing I like better than eating bleeding lips of my son growing into the confident young man I know he'll be. Suffering staplers.
You're gonna let this girl fight your battles for you, Turner?
Only she wins.
You put my boy down. You big gray boy.
Oh, your daddy's here to fight for you.
Son growing into the confident young man I know he'll be. Suffering staplers.
You're gonna let this girl fight your battles for you, Turner?
Only she. Right.
Well, students, it's the last day of school. You're probably all very
I'm with ready to fire a book before I get part of it done with. I should get part of it done with.
Don't you guys ever go to the bathroom? At least I can take comfort in the fact that my best friends procrastinated all summer too, just like me, right?
Actually, Timmy, I did my report months ago, and it's being made into a feature film.
I'm planning on slugging this year, so I stopped caring months ago.
We're going to the all-day, all-free end of summer kids who did their summer book report carnival.
Which is free. Then why did you walk all the way here to the library with me? To run in!
Oh, cheer up, Timmy. The library can be just as much fun as a free street carnival. Right, Cosmo? Oh, man! That carnival is awesome! And look, I want a fluffy fluffy. All I had to do was spin the tail on over.
Safe energy delivery is paramount for all of us. Enbridge is working with the state of Michigan to build a
Hey, what are we doing in the library?
Yeah, right.
I like this one. Their Francis hates it.
Real problem. Over.
And that's why I'm scared of the paper.
So you and your friends paid to fall on your face at the skateboard park?
Someone's coming quick. I wish you guys were my skateboard gear.
His whole face hit at the same time. He must be really good.
Is your dentist buying tickets to this place?
Yeah. Why?
Darn it. All right, you guys, watch and learn. I like to learn. Wow! I've never been this good before.
Oh, sweetie, you've never had magic skate gear before.
Wow, look at Timmy roll nimbly back and forth. I mean, tread.
Now this makes no sense. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see this again here. Let's see here. That's possible. That's possible. Juggling, boxing, grilling, no. No. Well, actually, one thing that she did is tell you true. You can play an instrument on a skateboard, but not drums.
Just because you're the best skater here doesn't mean you get to bounce off our heads. Actually, Twerp, it makes me queen of the skate park. And as queen, I'm queen. You must be at least this tall to ride this ramp. That's not fair. So, what are you gonna do about it? I challenge you to a skateboarding contest tomorrow. And whoever wins gets to be the new queen. King. The catchphrase. Me.
Problem? Over? Always problem with you guys. Don't you ever call just to say hi? Over?
Skating in the jungle is a great way to learn to swerve.
Learn to skate in difficult environments, you must. Because scared of gorillas am I!
Ramping down a pyramid is a great way to learn how to pick up speed.
Heavens, this specimen is perfectly preserved.
Yeah, I'm still using this.
Ah, the mummy's curse!
Oh man, I'm still beefing it on the simplest of tricks.
Don't worry, Timmy. Win or lose, your friends will still love you.
Really?
Timmy better win. We're not going to love him anymore. Welcome to the skate park and the big skateboarding contest. Today is a big match between evil 16-year-old babysitter skate punk Vicky and Timmy.
Oh!
Wait, where is Timmy?
I knew it. I knew you'd punk out. I win by default. And you know what that means.
We're pretty big.
Oh man, I can't. I'm gonna lose and have to go away. There's no way I'm gonna humiliate myself. No way! Alright, twerp. Line up! Say not so fast, Vicky. You wanna win? You're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. By being better than me.
Hello? Oh, bye.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, just remember, it's not whether you win or lose. It's win, or we don't ever get to come back here again.
Break a leg, twerp. Thanks, Vicky. No, really. I mean, break a leg. Yeah? Well, watch this.
Timmy actually wins the first round.
That's pretty neat.
Beat this, twerp.
Why your tires are not made of air?
Unfortunately, wins. Comes down to this. The super colossal
Ramp of Death
Chicken nuggets are ordinary.
Ugh.
Chicken rings.
are so far away.
Now with White Castle, you can get 12.
I'm not going 100 miles. I'm not going over 100 miles to Michigan City, Indiana, and an hour behind to go get chicken rings.
Don't worry, Timmy. Just do the Timmy tuck, and you'll be the new queen. Whatever.
Vicky, I'm about to do this totally original and completely mine trick. The Vicky Tuck.
She stole your trick. Oh, this calls for some dramatic background music.
She can't do it. Evil never wins.
Now all Timmy has to do is survive the big ramp and he wins.
Oh no, the big ramp. I can't do it. I won't. I did it. All right. Well, nice knowing you. Skating on the moon, ripping down the pyramids, skating in the jungle. I can do this. I can do this. We can do this. We can do this. Unless. Oh no! I'm doomed.
She's totally cheating. I mean, cheating. Not if I can help it.
I give the crown to Francis.
And as the new queen of the skate park, I decree. Let my people skate!
King, king, king!
One Vicky's in a freighter and the kids are free to skate. Pretty good day, don't you think? I want a hot dog. Is it halftime yet?
You did it, dude. You beat, thrashed Vicky and saved the park.
And best of all, I did it all by myself. Me, the most coordinated skater ever.
And best of all, Timmy learned some great new tricks. And one not so great. One.
Homewrecker. Guy Moon did music. Ken Bruce.
Have fun at the Scottish Festival, Mr. and Mrs. McMoneybags. Mac Turner.
And you two have a fun non-house wrecking night. Me and my man skirt are off.
It's a kilt, you dummy.
All right. I'll put on some underwear. Holy haggis!
I begged him to stop. He was too strong. To your room, bad seed. You're lucky my parents are nitwits, but they won't fall for that again. Have fun golfing, and I'll try to control your bad seed this time. Don't go. She's just gonna mess up the house and blame me.
What does he think we are? Nitwits?
Oh my gosh, we are nitwits. We forgot to tell Timmy we love him.
Timmy, we love you! He's worse than a bad seed. He's an entire evil plant.
But I didn't. Oh, what's the point? What are we going to do with him? Maybe you should mention that. Introducing my new off-site bad seed babysitting service. A 7-day-a-week babysitting service?
7 days a week. That's almost all of them.
Yep. And if it works on you, I can franchise it nationwide. Look, I already have investors lined up.
Maybe it's the man skirt making me emotional, but I love it. Here you go.
Go, Mister!
Hey, your dad's right. This man skirt is comfortable. Would you please put on some underwear? Freedom!
Man, I can't believe I have to spend the whole day at Vicky's house tomorrow.
Yeah, that is a bad break. It's not like while you were there you could rent her house, get her in trouble with her parents, and give her a taste of her own medicine or anything. Cosmo, what are you implying? Nothing. I can't be implying anything. I don't even know what imply means. Or do I?
A taste of her own medicine. I like it. Time for Dr. Turner to make a house call.
Timmy, doctors don't make house calls anymore. Or do they? Do they? I don't know.
Some places they do.
Yep. This is Vicky's house, all right. Glad you made it, neighbor strip. Aw, Fuego remembers you. Wow, Cosmo and Dad are right. This is comfortable. Get busy, Missy. My parents are out to dinner tonight, and I promised them that when they get home, this place will look 100% different. Oh, it will.
Or will it?
Wanda, help! Distract you!
Here, Ronald! Here's a new Timmy doll, and this one talks.
My parents are nitwits. Nitwits. Time for Operation Totally Destroy Vicky's house and get her in trouble with her parents when they get home from dinner. Step 1. Kitchen tornado, please. Step 2. Mud and lots of it. Amazing
Oh.
One room left. Thanks, Turtle. This isn't anything like I thought it would be.
Finally, I'm saved! Greg, what are you doing?
I got this. Perfume Typhoon!
Fortune.
Overstuffed animals. And finally, Rat Boy Party!
Sport? With Vicky Sick?
For people living with HIV, keep being you and ask your doctor about Biktarvy. Biktarvy is a complete one-pill, once-a-day treatment used for HIV in certain adults. It's not a cure, but with one small pill, Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to and stay undetectable. That's when the amount of virus is so low, it cannot be measured by a lab test. Research shows people who take HIV treatment every day and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transmit HIV through sex.
Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare, life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Do not take Biktarvy if you take Jafetalide or Rifampin. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have kidney or
Damn.
What we're looking at right now is the line on the opening day of the second McDonald's restaurants in the Soviet Union.
Dang!
The line crossed around several city blocks, creating a few traffic jams and lasted at least a good 10 hours. On January
8 to 10
31st,
hours.
1990, over 30,000 people visited the first fast food chain in Moscow to try the mysterious capitalist food known as the burger. Fast food is something that most of us take for granted.
Oh, I
It's
want
always
that.
been there, and it always will be.
Don't want that.
For the Russians and the Soviets, however, that has not been the case. The Soviet Union was a restricted country, hidden behind the so-called Iron Curtain. No Western goods such as clothes, vehicles, and food products were allowed to enter the country.
Technically, that's a lie.
Members of the Communist Party elite or celebrities.
That's technically a lie. Cars were sent to the U. That's technically a lie, because according to my records, Ford, General Motors, and another car company, I can't think of. That's actually not entirely true. That actually is a lie, because back then, the models for the Ford and a model from Ford, Opel, and another car company actually went to the Soviet Union. So that's actually not true. Entirely true.
To get the good goodies of capitalism, such as jeans, Snickers bars, and burgers, and Coca-Cola.
Burgers and Coke.
The history of fast food in
Pepsi
the
came
USSR
first.
started out from an argument between the then leader of the USSR, Nikita Khrushchev, and the US vice president at the time, which was Richard Nixon. In 1959,
Nixon.
during a Soviet-held exhibition in New York, Nixon and a Pepsi executive, Donald M. Kendall, offered
Ooh,
the
heard of
Soviet
him.
leader to try some Pepsi. Reportedly, Khrushchev and Nixon got into a heated debate about which is better, communism or capitalism. During this argument,
Capitalism.
the Pepsi executive Donald M. Kendall came over to Khrushchev and offered them a cup of Pepsi. Khrushchev actually liked the strange black fizzy drink. The Soviet citizens therefore became aware of what cola was, and Pepsi saw this as an opportunity to branch out to Soviet Russia. In 1972, PepsiCo has signed an agreement with the Soviet government to start the sales of cola in the USSR. Due to the Soviet ruble being completely useless as a currency on the global markets,
Still
it
today.
had almost no real value outside of the USSR because it was a closed country. A huge amount of Pepsi Cola syrup was exchanged for an equal amount of Stolichna vodka.
That makes sense.
Yes, seriously. In order to get Pepsi on the Russian shelves, the Soviets literally traded vodka for cola. This is really not doing anything good for the stereotypes about.
You want to know something though? That still happens. Actually, the funny thing is though, vodka for Pepsi. Okay, vodka for Pepsi. Let's hear. That still happens today. Technically, that's the thing that's weird though, guys. About this is the truth is though, vodka is what Russia's. I mean, that's the drink that Russia actually makes is vodka. I mean, I heard the Russian vodka is the greatest stuff the world can get. To us, it's like having moonshine or something like that. Which I'm not really into drinking alcohol. I'm more drinking sodas and, I don't drink anything extreme, but I do drink some weird stuff, okay? So like that. I do drink Gatorade, I do drink pop, but I do not drink anything with alcohol in it. I might have a beer once in a while. I might have a shot once in a while, but I don't really drink at all, period. I might drink once in a great while, but that's me. I'm drinking maybe. Only time I do drink, but only on certain holidays. Who knows? Maybe better by.
Well, the Stolichna vodka became a big hit in the United States, and so did Pepsi in the USSR. Pepsi's cola syrup was exported from the United States to the USSR, where it was locally mass-produced using the syrup and salt under the Pepsi Cola branding. A decade later, in 1989, the initial agreement of the Soviet governments with Pepsi was about to expire, and the USSR needed even more soda. What happened next is one of the most ridiculous and fascinating things I've ever heard. The Soviet government literally traded 17 submarines and 3 Soviet warships, including a frigate, a cruiser, and a destroyer, for $3 billion worth of Pepsi. Yes, seriously. This meant that for a brief moment in the 1980s, PepsiCo became the 6th largest military in the world.
This is maybe Pepsi.
This is insane, okay? I just cannot comprehend this. Pepsi ended up selling all the warships for scrap to some Norwegian or Swedish company. The story gets really shady here, I don't know, honestly. I didn't find any good sources about this, so just trust me on this. And after this insane deal, Donald M. Kendall, which was the CEO of Pepsi at the time, famously said that his company is disarming the Soviet Union faster than the US government. Another fun fact is that Pepsi also apparently launched a big-ass Pepsi can into space near the Soviet Mir space station in the 1980s, and it was like a means of advertisement back in the day.
200 miles above the Earth's surface, it was lights, camera, action as Pepsi-Cola, in conjunction with the Russian Mir space station, began production on the first-ever television commercial shot in space.
Mission Control in Moscow. Jesus Christ, this is amazing.
Wow.
All these news coming into the USSR, all the Western stuff, all of this was possible due to the last leader of the USSR,
Gorbachev,
who ruled the country from 1985 up to its demise in 1991. Gorbachev is famous for creating the idea of glasnost and perestroika. This was a movement with the aim to reform the country's economy, to westernize the Soviet Union, remove the Iron Curtain, and to battle censorship. Gorbachev is a quite controversial figure in Russian politics. Some people praise him for promoting liberal ideas in a totalitarian country, while others claim that he sold the USSR out to the West, call him a traitor, and blame him for the destruction of the Soviet Union. I really don't want to get into this because I don't want the comments to turn a war zone, okay? So I'm just going to scoot by, okay? Thank you. Gorbachev is actually closely connected to the opening of the first Pizza Hut in the USSR.
I knew about that.
Pizza Hut is owned by Pepsi, so opening a branch in the Soviet Union was
Not even-
quite easy.
well-
Gorbachev himself even appeared in...
Correction, that's not true. Well, technically, it depends on what country you live in. Here in the USA, it's not owned by Pepsi. Pizza Hut's owned by someone else. Okay. Pizza Hut is owned by Yum Incorporated, okay? Yum Incorporated owns KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and they also own Applebee's. Certain countries, certain things happen. Like, for example, I do know that there's a country, for example, like in Korea, like North Korea, like South Korea, I know for a fact that there's a company in South Korea that owns Kellogg, owns the part of, like, for example, I know in Korea, there's a cereal that in Korea was never got discontinued, but we came back in the U.S. to make it. Like, for example, in Korea, there's a company that owns Post and owns Nabisco, which makes Oreos. There's a Korean company that owns both companies in Korea, so they are, connected. That's kind of how it goes. And that's sort of like that. I'm a history. it depends on the country you live in, and
infamous Soviet Pizza Hut advertisements.
so Soviet Pizza Hut's owned by Pepsi Russia. I mean, I like to go to Russia one of these days because I heard Russia is lovely. I mean, I love to go to. Oh, so that's not that's not totally bad. Well, pizza in Russian. I mean,
Mention the Soviet Union was quite easy. Gorbachev himself even appeared in an infamous Soviet Pizza Hut advertisements.
I'll talk about it later, guys. A video I did a few years ago. I can read a little bit of Russian, so yeah. Gorbachev? Of course it's him.
Благодаря ему у
Because
нас
he-
новые возможности.
Это из-за него у нас политическая нестабильность.
Благодаря ему у нас свобода.
Полный хаос.
Перспектив.
Политическая нестабильность.
They're still shit.
Да благодаря ему
Maybe because he likes good food.
у нас есть Pizza Hut.
Likes Pizza Hut. This is so funny though, because Russian Pizza Hut. I mean, Russia. I mean, I can't pronounce that, but good places are.
Fam, I don't know. That one's gonna be a yikes from me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
gonna be a yikes from me. The agreement to open the first McDonald's in the U.S. is
I mean, each country is different. Like some countries, like
Joe Biden became
there's
a
a-
public defender.
I don't care about Joe Biden. I don't care about politics.
Civil rights and voting rights.
I'm not voting at all. Here, I'm not voting for anything. I'm not voting.
USSR was signed in 1988, but the first restaurant did not open until 1990 at the Pushkinskaya Square in Moscow. I've actually
Ooh.
been to this particular McDonald's, and now it looks nothing like it did back then, but it's still pretty cool, I guess. So back then, in 1990, on the first day of the opening of McDonald's, over 30,000 people ate their burger. This number still stays as an absolute worldwide record for the most people served in one day at a McDonald's. Even though the average salary of a Soviet worker was around 150 rubles back then, and only one burger cost about 1.5 rubles, for which you could buy like 8 or 9 loaves of bread, people of Moscow still rushed in to try the new mysterious Western capitalist food. KFC in Russia has a very interesting history as well. It first opened up in Moscow in 1993. However, it was not actually called Kentucky Fried Chicken. The KFC company partnered with a Russian company called Rosinter, and the fast food chain opened up under the name Rostix. In 1998, KFC and Pizza Hut both left Russia because the business was not profitable. However, both of them returned to the Russian market in the year 2000. KFC was still
Okay.
known as Rostix until 2005. When both companies decided to rename the brand Rostix KFC. Finally, only in
That makes sense.
2011, KFC bought out the Russian branch, and the KFC restaurants in Russia now have the original KFC brand name. Due to the chicken fast food chain being called differently for such a long time, many people, especially of the older generation, still refer to KFC as Rostix.
I would
Subway
too.
first unsuccessfully tried coming to Russia in 1994, but they only managed to do so in 2004. Right now, Subway has the biggest amount of restaurants around Russia compared to any
145.
other fast food joints. Burger King was quite late to the party, only opening up its first restaurant in Moscow in January 2010. However, today, Burger King is perhaps the fastest growing fast food chain in all of Russia. Due to the
Wow.
company's aggressive marketing, which often comes off very cringy to be honest, and the fast food chain's great pricing policy. The American fast food chain Wendy's also tried to make it to Russia. The first joint was opened up in Moscow in 2011. However, Wendy's couldn't compete with the likes of McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC. And in 2014, Wendy's left Russia and closed all of its restaurants. It's a real
Okay.
shame because I never got to try it because I only went to Moscow for the first time in 2015. Sad that I didn't get to eat spicy goodness like a pass.
I mean, Wendy's is all right. I wonder about if Dairy Queen went to Russia.
Spicy goodness. Like a bow.
Other than that, fast food chains that are present in Russia that need to be mentioned are Domino's, Shake Shack, Carl's Jr., Hesburger, Dunkin' Donuts, TGI Fridays, and Papa John's. Unfortunately, Russia has no Taco Bell, Popeyes, In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, or Five Guys.
Two things. One, In-N-Out, they don't exist anywhere else but the West. Guys, where I live, we don't have In-N-Out either, okay? Now, technically, In-N-Out is a restaurant that is only in one area in the world, okay? The West Coast of the USA. Like here in the US, we don't have the, I mean, I live on the East Coast, okay? I don't actually live on the East Coast, but I live in the Midwest. We don't have a Popeyes either. We have a Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A is 40 miles up the road in Porridge, and Chick-fil-A is 40 miles down up that way towards Kalamazoo. There's a one over at the bookstore in Porridge. We have Chick-fil-A, but it's 40 miles up the road. McDonald's is closer. Burger King is closer. But we do have something like In-N-Out here, but it's in Sturgis, which is that way. And it's about 20 miles, let's say, about 20 miles or so. I'm not sure. I don't like Hot Now. Never have, never will like Hot Now. But Hot Now was I did a series of Hot Now. It's in the series. Go to episode 8. Go to YM episode 8. I have a series on Hot Now. It's episode 8, and it's episode 8, ABC, like something like that. Or go to my playlist under Rare Category and look for Hot Now there. Okay, Hot Now is like In-N-Out. Something like that. And, yeah. Taco Bell, not a big fan of Big Taco Bell. I'm just a big fan of nothing.
Every time. In the late 90s, Russians started creating their own fast food joints. For example, the Kroshka Kartoshka chain, which does various dishes based on potatoes with different toppings. It was first opened in 1998 and is still active today. Another successful Russian fast food chain is Teremok, which sells the traditional Russian dish known as blini, similar to crepes, with various fillings.
Looks a little bit like a burrito.
Teremok actually even had a number of restaurants in New York. However, they are no longer in business in the United States. The biggest and currently fastest growing Russian fast food chain is Dodo Pizza. It was opened up in 2011, and right now it's like the big...
Oh, wow. Dodo Pizza? I'll tell you right now. It looks a little bit like... Okay, it looks like a copy of Little Caesars. I'll tell you right now. Dodo Pizza looks a little bit like Little Caesars. Same colors. White, beige... Beige is orange. Beige is whitish, beige, orange, and orange. Looks a little bit like Little Caesars to me, which is a Michigan company. I don't know if Dodo was supposed to be a ripoff.
Pizzeria in all of Russia, and it's actually pretty good. Apparently, also recently they opened up a few joints in the United States and in China, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. And it's great pizza. It's like my go-to, basically, like hot pizza.
I'm surprised they even opened a Dodo Pizza here in the U.S. because if I'm right. Little Caesars should be able to. It should be. If I worked for Little Caesars and I heard about this, I would actually try suing Dodo's Pizza because it looks a little bit like Little Caesars to me. Same color scheme, if you know what I mean. Looks same color scheme, if you know what I mean. I think it's like a ripoff of Little Caesars. I'm not really sure, but it does look a little like Little Caesars to me.
Paid advertisements. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. It's probably just because my city doesn't even have Pizza Hut. If you had Pizza Hut, bruh, I'd be on that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little history lesson on how fast food made its way into the Soviet Union and Russia. I personally find these stories very entertaining. I mean, Jesus Christ, which other country leader ever took part in a fucking Pizza Hut?
There's a few celebrities that have been in pizza commercials. Really? There's a few. I mean, I think of a few companies that have had celebrities in them, like McDonald's, Burger King. Even Subway had a celebrity until that celebrity is now currently in jail. And now I bet he's pissed because he's getting all that weight. Because according to what I heard, he gained all the weight back. I'm not really sure where they actually had him in the show. They did a show called Like That a Lot. They actually had a poster of Jerry in there, that picture of Jerry next to Jerry stand up, and they actually had him actually make him sandwiches. In some way, that was hilarious. But yeah.
Spaghetti with delicious meatballs.
Fast food items have the ability to become major hits, like the Big Mac or the Baconator. However,
Okay.
sometimes the choices
Baconator belongs to
food
Wendy's.
restaurants make are more flopper than whopper.
Where did you get that?
The clown gave it to me.
Here are some of those very epic fails.
Ew,
the 10
pizza.
biggest fast food failures of all time. Long John Silver's Big Catch Meal.
Welcome aboard the ship of lost souls.
This seafood
I had Long John Silver's
monstrosity
before.
was added
It's all
to
right,
Long John
but they're hard to come by.
Silver's in 2013. It
Long John Silver's are hard to come by.
7.5-ounce piece of haddock.
If I heard of Long John Silver's,
Pile of onion rings and a side of hush puppies.
now I'm gonna see if I'm gonna say yes or no if I ever had the restaurant heard of the. Some of the restaurants that you're maybe talking about I never heard of, but I have heard of Long John Silver, so that counts as I heard of it.
Long John Silver's described the meal as the largest fish we have ever offered and claimed it was a game changer. The Big Catch Meal was launched in May and was discontinued by August of that same year due to a significant backlash. It turns out that Long John Silver's was also serving up a shockingly unhealthy amount of calories and fat. The Big Catch Meal contained more trans fats than the average person should eat in 2 weeks.
Much too greasy. Even the smell of it makes me feel physically sick.
A lot of this was attributed to the fact that these items were cooked up in a big vat of partially hydrogenated frying oil. By the end of 2013, Long John Silver's agreed to look into new oil for their fryers that would replace hydrogenated oil in their restaurants. This meal was actually panned as the worst restaurant meal in America by the Center for Science in the Public Interest.
Well, that's hardly the image we want for Long John Silver's.
Pizza Hut's gourmet rebrand.
The gourmet cooking for you.
Pizza Hut is basically known for serving greasy, cheesy pizza. But in 2014, after declining sales, they decided they wanted to appeal to foodie millennials and updated their menu to include new artisan options. They dubbed this rebrand Flavor of Now. Some of these artisan toppings included honey sriracha sauce, Peruvian cherry peppers, and
Ew.
crust. The company even reached out to some of the more trendy food trucks in New York City to help suggest menu flavors and items that would appeal to the hip foodies out there.
Expecting someone with some sort of vehicle, but not this.
However, at the end of May 2014, the CEO of Pizza Hut's parent company, Yum Brands Incorporated, admitted at a conference in New York City that the rebrand was not working.
That's a terrible call.
What was once referred to as the biggest rebrand in the company's history was now the biggest flop they'd seen, at least in a long time. It turns out that they neglected one major thing. Their target audience just wanted cheap, greasy pizza. Within a year, Pizza Hut ended up making a complete reversal back to their original menu.
Good.
McDonald's Pizza.
McDonald's Pizza?
With the rise of pizza chains at this time, the company decided it wanted to tap into this corner of the dinner food market and introduced their own pizza. By the early 1990s,
That would sell.
McDonald's implemented it in a portion of their Canadian and American locations.
I would sell.
However, there were a lot of complications that came with this decision. First, there was an equipment issue. The McDonald's pizza required a new oven to cook, which was designed to quickly cook pizza dough from frozen within 6 minutes.
This is good. Yeah.
It meant that every single restaurant location would have to obtain a new oven and find room for it in their kitchen. Next, there was a drive.
That wouldn't work for one reason. One, there's a few McDonald's around here that I know of that are very, very small, and there'd be no room for it. Like, for example, I do know there's a McDonald's over in Bronx City. I'm going to call it City B. Their McDonald's is quite small. I mean, they have enough room for a few people, but that's about it. And their McDonald's is small. If they're going to want to put something like that, they have to get bigger. So that sucked.
Through issue. The boxes designed for the pizza didn't fit through the window, which meant that they had to be expanded. That called for more renovations. The pizza also took a total of 11 minutes to cook and prepare, which is way too long to keep up with drive-through times. People frequently had to pull over and wait a long time for their pizzas. Not only was this a flop, but it angered many popular pizza chains and prompted them to create smear campaign-style ads against McDonald's.
That was like watching Ronald McDonald eat a cheeseburger off the Grimace.
I'm serious.
Burger King's Halloween Whopper.
Juicy, flavorful, with just a hint of.
In 2015, Burger King was consumed by the Halloween spirit. It resulted in the Halloween Whopper being added to the menu. It was was your average Whopper, but it was served on a spooky black bun.
Heavy.
Due to the dark hue, the buns were infused with A1 steak sauce. The burger itself also came in a cute mummy-themed wrapper as an added bonus. It turns out that the burger was more nightmare-inducing than anticipated.
Welcome to my world.
Customers began to report that the Black Whopper was turning their poop green. And not just any green, neon green. The reason for this was the dye in the sauce. However, according to some nutritionists, a typical serving of A1 steak sauce doesn't contain enough dye to have this effect. The consensus was that Burger King was clearly using a concentrated version in their buns. Now, the green poop wasn't really a health hazard. It just came as more of a shock to people who were not mentally prepared for the experience. Domino's Oreo dessert pizza.
That is-
2007 was an interesting
Kind of.
We are calling it iPhone.
For $3.99, you could order a giant pizza-sized cookie from Domino's. It was served as an addition with any purchase. The Oreo dessert pizza consisted